when I got my first death threat. I think I was 24 years old. And it really underscored for me the fact that some people are really willing to commit violence to show you how much they disagree with you. It is something that is on my mind, and it has been on my mind for over 20 years because I had just taken the helm at NARAL Pro-Choice Wisconsin. But I think it, I cannot stop speaking out on the things that matter. And I think all of us as Americans have a responsibility to say, listen, we get to disagree in this country. That is okay. But we do not get to use violence to solve our disputes. And when you look at the rhetoric and the actions of this president, he's essentially giving a permission slip to his constituents to attack people with whom they disagree.
Our guest here in person, she's been on this program before, and we really appreciate her stopping by today. It's an exciting day for her. She is currently the state senator for the 26th Senate District here in Dane County, representing parts of Madison and Middleton. But today, after much anticipation, not necessarily a surprise, at least to this anchor, she announced her run for Wisconsin governor on the Democratic side. Joining us in studio, none other than State Senator Kelda Roys. Senator, welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you, Todd. So happy to be here with you today.
Well, I appreciate you coming by and doing this in person. I know you got an enormously long day today. I want to start this out, if you want to, what we did with other candidates. I want to play about the first minute of your announcement today so people can hear this. We'll come back and discuss it. So we're playing about the first minute for all the candidates. Here is Senator Royce's announcement for governor this morning.
Wisconsin, we are in the fight of our lives for our democracy and our kids' future. But I've been in this fight before. When Scott Walker attacked Wisconsin workers, I was there. Now, as extremists attack our freedoms while families struggle to get by, we're fighting back together.
We never contemplated having such a lawless person at the helm of our country.
I'm Kelda Roys, and for 25 years, I've been fighting for Wisconsin alongside you and delivering. In the Assembly, I helped 80,000 Wisconsinites finally get affordable health care. In the Senate, I worked with nurses to pass a bipartisan law repealing outdated regulations and expanding healthcare options for rural communities.
As a woman, I know what it's like to experience a physical examination, to go to a gynecologist's office. I know what that's like. And if you guys want to regulate this in this body, then you can stand here and listen to me speak about it.
I've been protecting our freedoms when others didn't even see the threat coming. That's leadership. See the problem, build the coalition, deliver results. I've done it while raising 5 kids and running a small business, because when something matters, we find a way. Now, with everything on the line, Wisconsin needs a governor who's been training for this moment her whole career and who knows how to deliver.
That is State Senator Kelda Roys, and part of her video announcement this morning. A great tease there. If you want to learn more, see the whole thing, go to Kelda4Gov. That's Kelda, Kelda 4, spelled out FOR, Gov, Gov.com, Kelda4Gov.com. Senator Royce, why are you running for governor?
Todd, it's very simple. We need 2 things from our next governor. This is a challenging moment for Wisconsin, and we absolutely need someone who is going to stand up to the way that the Republican regime in Washington is harming Wisconsin families, and we have to protect Wisconsin families from the worst brunt of that chaos and corruption and the high costs that they're causing. But at the same time, it's a moment of real opportunity in our state, and we need a governor who knows how to deliver, whether the legislature is Democratic, Republican, or split. And I have done that throughout my career for more than 20 years on the issues that matter most to Wisconsinites.
What do you see as you travel around Wisconsin? You've talked about it on this program. What are you hearing? What do you see as the top couple of issues facing Wisconsinites in this run for governor?
Definitely the high costs on the things that matter most to people: healthcare, housing, prescription drugs, utilities, childcare. Trump ran promising to lower those costs, and everything that he's done is making it higher and harder for Wisconsinites. So we need our governor to prioritize increasing people's wages and reducing the costs on those big ticket items. Healthcare is right up there, as it always is, and public education, which we know has been underfunded for decades in our state, and our schools really can't do it anymore. We have to take some of the burden off our property taxpayers and help make sure that teachers and kids are prepared to succeed in the classroom.
Hate to ask this question, going to do it because we've talked about it on this show, and unfortunately it's pertinent once again. You've been on here before. We had political violence in Minnesota. You said it gave you pause, thinking of your own safety, that of your family. We heard from my former boss, State Senator Dale Schultz, that said he thinks one of the reasons that elected officials are so scared is that they're not getting out and meeting their constituents and enough. You're someone who has been out there. Did your safety, did your family's safety in light of what's happened recently play into your decision? And how do you feel about that today?
Certainly, it is something that is on my mind, and it has been on my mind for over 20 years because I had just taken the helm at NARAL Pro-Choice Wisconsin when I got my first death threat. I think I was 24 years old, and it really underscored for me the fact that some people are really willing to commit violence to show you how much they disagree with you. And it is something that has become more and more prevalent in recent years. But I think I cannot stop speaking out on the things that matter. And I think all of us as Americans have a responsibility to say, listen, we get to disagree in this country. That is okay. But we do not get to use violence to solve our disputes. And when you look at the rhetoric and the actions of this president, he's essentially giving a permission slip to his constituents to attack people with whom they disagree. He pardoned the January 6th rioters. He pardoned people who are serving time in prison for attacking reproductive health clinics, right? I don't know what that is if not a permission slip to violent actors.
Admire you and anyone else who gets into elected office today. Thank you for doing that and keeping the civil discourse going. Crowded field. David Crowley was on this program last week. Mayor Cavalier Johnson in Milwaukee has endorsed him. You've got yourself out there now. Lieutenant Governor Sara Rodriguez is out there. That's just on the Democratic side. How do you differentiate in this primary that's getting more and more crowded and win this primary before going to the general?
Well, I think it's really important to show that I can appeal to Wisconsinites in every corner of the state. And I have spent my whole career, not just my time in the Senate and on the Finance Committee, really deeply listening to people in every part of Wisconsin, traveling to the state, meeting with them face to face in small groups and in large, and hearing their concerns and then taking them back and turning them into real policy and getting it done. And often it takes years to do that, right? Building that coalition, especially across partisan lines. But that's my specialty. And that's what we need in our next governor, somebody who has that track record of getting things done.
You've run for governor once before in 2018. I have my own feelings, but I want you to tell your own words. What's different about this run for governor versus your run in 2018?
Well, I think the world is totally different than it was in 2018. I mean, obviously, in that race, if you want to sort of get into the horse race aspect, Governor Evers had a huge head start, and deservedly so, because he was a very popular 3-time statewide elected official as state superintendent. And at that time, I had been out of politics for 6 years. I had been in the assembly for 2 terms, but then was running my small business and having my kids. And yet still I was able to build a really, I think, exciting movement around the state, finished in the top tier, and kind of built that out of nothing. Now I have an incredible infrastructure of support all over the state.
I mean, I've told you this off the air as well. I think you've grown as a candidate, grown as a legislator, and the fact that you have been one of those people that's out there listening to people, I think it makes you a stronger candidate this time around. But I want to give you time on this because this is your time announcing to run for governor. State Senator Kelda Roys joining us here live in the studio. What have I not asked you? As you hit the road, what are you going to go, the message from Superior to Green Bay to Richland Center to Milwaukee to Madison to Monroe? What are you telling people?
I think people out there are feeling really frustrated and, in some sense, hopeless, right? Powerless, because we see things happening in our country that we never wanted to see. And it's scary and it can be exhausting. And sometimes you just want to turn off the news and look away. I get that. But what I am hearing from people is they want something more, and they know that we can recapture some of that progressive, innovative spirit that helped make Wisconsin such a great place to live for our parents' generation. They want that, and we can build that here. No matter who you are or where you're from, as your governor, I am going to help you and your family thrive.
As you look, I want to be respectful of the time. A couple of minutes left here before I got to let you go. But healthcare in particular, you've worked on women's healthcare, reproductive rights, and we look up at the Chippewa Valley in terms of of hospitals shutting down there.
Mm-hmm.
We see less access, potentially what's happening in Washington. What specifically, if you were governor, if you were sitting in that chair, what would you do for Wisconsinites to help on healthcare?
Well, number one, I would make sure that those who are suffering the effects of those hospital closures actually get the funds that they need. We have got to support our rural providers, critical access providers, and those in urban and underserved communities, right? That's one thing we have in common. But we also have to make many more investments in mental health care and behavioral health because we've got to stop the opioid epidemic, and that's the best way to help people thrive. It's going to be a tough couple of years for Wisconsinites as hundreds of thousands lose their health care coverage thanks to the Republicans' bill. And we need a governor who's going to prioritize that.
Do you have your time in the legislature now? Is there a way, if you were Governor Kelda Roys, that you could reach across? I know you want Democratic majorities in the legislature, but let's say at least one house is still Republican. Can it still be done?
Absolutely. And my career shows that, Todd, because most of the accomplishments I've had have been done, well, either there's total Republican control of the legislature or one house has been Republican. And even though I'm a Democrat, I have always worked across the aisle to build Republican support for my policies and to compromise where it's needed, because that's the state we live in, and that's what our constituents expect and deserve.
Kelda Roys, State Senator Kelda Roys, I cannot thank you enough for coming by this program. It means the world. You have an open mic here anytime. Exciting race. Safe travels out there. We'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Great to see you again.
My pleasure. You can find more at kelda4gov.com, right? kelda4gov.com. Come on back with more after this. You're listening to the Civic Media's Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.